What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker, your Texas local lender. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about maintaining that credit score while you're in the home buying process. We all know it's a challenge. Stay tuned. So today we're going to talk about how do you maintain that credit score that you've worked so hard for once you start the approval process. So again, you start the approval process and now we know your credit score. We've pulled your credit report. We know what's on it. We're ready to go. You're conditionally approved, yada, 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 yada. And now we've got a 45-day window. Sometimes it's a 30-day window. Sometimes if you're building a new home, it's a 13-month window, right? So the windows all change and are variable dependent on the situation of the contract that you signed. But let's just talk about it in the general context of a normal month, right? So you have a month. And during that month, you're now trying to outfit a home. And when I furnish a home, you're trying to do all these things. And I just went through this process. So it's something I can speak to very passionately. Because we all know you can go to Rooms To Go, Nebraska Furniture Mart, you go to any of these places and they'll offer you 0% interest for 1 bazillion months if you buy $10,000 worth of stuff at their store or whatever the offer is. And so my question was, as I bought my last home, this home I'm in now, was okay, so what does this look like for me? Because debt to income ratio is such a big part of being approved that the last thing you want to do is take on more debt than you should and have your debt to income ratio be out of whack at the final check there at the end, right? And so that's the first part of your credit and maintaining your credit we're going to talk about. And that is not taking on any new debt. I know it's tough. I know it's really tough for you to not take on new debt, not have new inquiries, not have any of that stuff during that 30-day window. But again, it's only 30 days. So during that 30-day window, under no circumstances should you take on new debt. I'm talking to you in the back. The second thing that you absolutely should not do is opening new accounts. True story, buddy of mine finally got him approved. He's buying a house and he got the bright idea to trade his truck in right in the middle. So day 15, here we are. And it wasn't easy getting dude approved either. We had to pull every string we could pull and every, you know what I'm saying? And finally got him approved. And sure enough, this idiot goes out and buys a car right in the middle of the process. So thing number 2 that you absolutely do not want to do is open new lines of credit. That's no new credit cards. That's no trading in your trucks. That's no any of that, right? Like that will change your conditional approval to conditionally unapproved potentially. And that's just not a risk worth taking. Some of you might say, well, look, I've done it. I've been there. I did it. Not a big deal. And it may not be, right? Like it may not be. You may be in such a financial situation where your credit score is an 850 and you make a gazillion dollars a year and you're overqualified for the house and you've got your debt to income ratios 2. And so in that case, okay, maybe it's different. But for 99.99% of people out there, don't open any new lines of credit. Also, continue to pay your bills, right? Like don't get a late pay while you're in the process. That's going to ding your credit. That's going to change the ability to conditionally approve you. Another thing that a lot of people ask about is, what if I already have lines of credit? I'll give you an example. There was a fridge at Lowe's that I wanted to get for my new house. And so I'm in the middle of this process. I'm conditionally approved. I've got a contract on my house. I'm 15 days away from closing. And I want to go get this $2,000 refrigerator from Lowe's. I already have a Lowe's account. I get my discount. I get 0% interest for 24 months. It's a great deal. By the way, free money. You always want to use it, right? And so I called William Branch, the William Branch Group. I said, hey, buddy, can I buy this? Can I buy this fridge? Absolutely not. I'm like, well, that was easy enough. Why? Why? Tell me why. And the answer is because, again, you're going to add debt to that debt to income ratio. $2,000 may not change your DTI to the point where you no longer qualify, but it may very well do it. And if it does it, Was it worth it? Because you could just wait 30 days and get that refrigerator the day after closing. And what does it change? You got one night in the house without a fridge, you're going to live. Okay. Get a Yeti cooler, keep stuff cold for 48 hours. You're in good shape, right? So that's the next thing that you don't want to do. And that is use your existing credit beyond your normal. I mean, look, if you're putting gas in your car, stuff like that, that's certainly okay. But when you talk about taking your Bed Bath & Beyond charge account or your Home Depot charge card and running up to the Home Depot and buying the patio furniture, the grill, the fridge, the freezer, the Frigidaire, top of the line appliances, all great and wonderful. Just wait till after you close. And then the last thing that we want to make sure of is that we're not popping a bunch of credit inquiries during the process, right? And so the great rule of thumb is just always wait. When it comes to credit and maintaining your credit during the approval process, from the time you get a contract to the time you close, is just don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't use it. Don't get new cars. Don't get new accounts. Don't open anything. Don't close anything. Just don't use it. Because when we pull your credit, we've got it for a period of time, right? We're going to look at it at the beginning and we're going to say, okay, Chico is an 820 FICO score. And Chico's probably not an issue if he's an 820, but let's talk about Johnny, right? Johnny's a 670. Well, now Johnny's a whole lot tighter on the margin, right? Because if he drops 15, 20 points, he may not get his loan. A good rule of thumb, is for every 10% of credit card usage that you're using. So for instance, if you have $10,000 limit on your credit card, for every $1,000 you have on the balance, you lose about 10 points on your score. So if Johnny puts an extra $1,000 on his credit card, he was a 650, now he's a 640, and you may not get that loan. You may not be able to buy that house. And wouldn't that be a terrible thing? Just not waiting to get your fridge? So the number one question, hey, how do I make sure I maintain my credit scores during the loan process? The golden rule is just don't use it. Don't use it. Don't open new. Don't close old ones. Don't trade your car in. Don't yada, 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 right? Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you about isn't necessarily credit, but it's a very important one, right? And believe it or not, it's the same idiot that traded his truck in. We got him approved again after 60 days. We had to wait 60 days after he traded his truck in. Finally got this dude approved again. And what does he do? He changes jobs. What do you mean you change jobs? Well, it was a better paying job. Well, that's great. But you don't, oh man. And he was an hourly guy. It wasn't like he was a salary guy. With a salary guy, we can take your offer letter, and as long as it's the same line of work that you've been doing, it's not going to be an issue. But he was not. And so it was an hour, he was an equipment operator. And so he took a better job. It was a union job, great job opportunity for him. But if he would have waited 15 days, he would be living in a different house today than he actually lives in, because we were unable to get him qualified because he decided to change his job. And there was no way of us knowing how many hours he was going to be guaranteed. There were so many question marks that came up that it was just like, man, it didn't happen. He was already on the edge. And so change is bad when you're in that window, right? So from contract to close, change is bad. Anything that changes your status is going to be bad. So that's the best way to look at it. Just don't change anything. Don't change how much debt you have. Just don't change, right? Keep everything the same and you're going to be all right. Again, I'm Zach Walker, Texas Local Lender. Smash the like button, subscribe for the great content that we're putting out every single week, and we'll see you very soon.